Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good evening, everybody. Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. We got, I'm not going to hold you guys too long this evening. I told you guys I'd be on a little bit later on this evening to let you guys know of any updates. And obviously we've been watching, keeping an eye on this whole situation with this, the ransom, the deadline, etc. So we're waiting for that, and now we got some new updates. So we are going to talk about it, because we got to talk about it. So do me a favor. Before we get into everything, hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button. If you're watching on these other platforms, if you are watching on these other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. Follow. Subscribe here on my YouTube channel, please, and thank you. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there. Hit that notification bell on both platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it's random, okay? And a lot of it's breaking news. Hit that join button down below, become a member, check out my Patreon, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com, we got some really great stuff over there. Go check it out, PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys. Like I said, it's not going to be a super long show this evening because, like I said, there is a lot going on. There is a lot, I'm sure, that's going to go on tomorrow, and I have a feeling tomorrow is going to be a long day too. But I did want to give you some updates on what's been popping off over the past several hours since we talked earlier today. Well, there was a deadline for the Guthrie family to kind of pay the assailant, the abductor, money in exchange for Nancy Guthrie's life. Now, of course, if you don't know what's really going on, Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mother, has been missing for now. It's going to be, we're entering into the 6th day. Okay. It's been days now. All right. It's been days since she's been missing. And 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, nobody knows where she is. What's really wild is the information that we've heard so far in that press conference, which was weird and wild at the same time because of what we were hearing from the sheriff, because he said certain things. Then he tries to run it back like he didn't say those things at all. Yet he did. So it's a little bit frustrating. I think a lot of people are very frustrated with Pima County Sheriff Nanos, or Nano, okay? Nanos? I think it's Nanos. All right. They're really frustrated with him. But right now, just so you know, because I know some people are asking about this, so we're gonna get straight to the point, okay? There has not been any proof of life. Zero, zilch, not a zippity doo-dah, not a damn thing. We have not heard they have not heard anything from the assailant, from the abductor, from the kidnapper at all. So much that the brother, Cameron Guthrie, went to his phone, went to social media, and made a video. It's very short. We're going to look at that very shortly here as well. But like I said, pleading the abductor, the alleged person who wrote this ransom note, pleading them to please contact them, get a conversation going, because the deadline had already passed. Now, I don't know if you already saw my video that I did, the little standalone video on demand, pop-up video, I like to call them, where I talked about that they have two different deadlines, which makes no earthly sense. No earthly sense. It doesn't. To me, that automatically makes me feel that we're dealing with a fugazi, that we're dealing with a hoax. If you got two different deadlines, what the F is going on here? Usually it's, we expect X amounts of dollars by this particular day, or the person that you love is going to get it. You see what I'm saying? That's it. You got X amount of time. The deadline is this particular day. And if you don't reach that date and give us exactly what we ask, your loved one is going to get it. But what's weird is that they gave them a second deadline, allegedly. Don't worry, we got a video that we're going to be looking at here in a second, and they show the FBI basically say out loud, yeah, we do have a second deadline for Monday, it looks like. What is that all about? 2 deadlines, I've never heard that before in my life. Usually it's like first deadline, I can see maybe like like the ransom note basically saying like, we expect 50% by 5 p.m. Thursday evening, and the other 50% on Monday. But that doesn't make sense either. Like, ransom note, like a ransom, paying up a ransom is not layaway. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying, like, you're not putting down a down payment on a house or a car or something like that, and then you're just gonna pay it off in dividends over time. You see what I'm saying? So again, like small installments over time. What the F is this all about? So to me, it doesn't make any sense. Just logically speaking, using common sense, just looking at that stuff, it just doesn't make any bloody sense. 2 different deadlines, and they don't even explain to us during that press conference. They did not even explain to us what what those 2 deadlines really meant. And I wish somebody in the reporters, like, I wish somebody would have gone like, excuse me, wait, why is there 2 deadlines? Can you explain that? Is that normal to see 2 deadlines? Because that doesn't seem to make any sense to me. I wish somebody would have asked that doggone question. Doesn't that seem a little bit weird to you? Or am I the only one that just, maybe I'm by myself about this. Maybe I am. But something about it just doesn't make sense. Math ain't mathing to me, baby. Math, most definitely not mathing. So in my mind, I keep thinking that maybe the family, I hate to say it like this, but I think they're getting swindled. I think that they're getting completely thrown off the beaten path. Unless it is true, but that doesn't make any sense. You have till Thursday, 5 p.m. or Monday, whichever one you want to do, whichever day you're comfortable with. That doesn't make sense. Either you have a deadline or you don't. That is it. But again, I've never dealt with a ransom situation. I've never dealt with a kidnapping of this kind. I've never covered anything like this before. I've only seen it in mother-loving movies. And in movies, it's you get 1 day or the loved one gets it, and that's it. There's no other day. Wait, actually Thursday, 5 p.m. Yeah, that doesn't work. Oh, I have ballet that day. My kiddo has ballet. Can we do another day? Can we do that doesn't make sense. Well, fine. How about Monday? Can it be between like 2 and 3? Because little Tyke has basketball that day too. Is that possible? And right after school, we got to go straight to basketball. Could we squeeze it in between, like between 2 and 3? Is that possible? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's fine. Monday's fine. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I've never heard of that in my life. Okay? I haven't. But yes, as basketball practice. Y'all parents understand? Shoot. Turning into chauffeurs and taxi Uber drivers, taking your kids everywhere. All right? But here's the thing. This doesn't make sense. Okay? With all due respect, all jokes aside, shoving them off to the side, it just doesn't make any earthly sense. Am I the only one that feels that this is weird? That this deadline, which clearly they were like, we need to see proof of life. They did not get proof of life. So why would they be spending or sending millions and millions of dollars to a person or a group of people when they didn't even provide proof of life for their own mama? But then on top of that, you got two different deadlines. You got 5 p.m. today and then sometime on Monday. It doesn't make, Cheryl on Facebook, it doesn't make any earthly sense. It just doesn't make sense. And I don't want to be, I'm not trying to be a negative, oh, that's crappy because negative Nancy, get it? But I'm not trying to be, a negative person here. But when you hear two deadlines, that gives me great pause. Instantly, I'm like, wait a sec. Two deadlines. Anybody have an answer for that? Okay. I'm just curious, like, Okay. Because here's the thing. We do have some other mother lover that's a piece of trash that was caught making a fake ransom note to this family, which is, if you really think about it, this is the most ridiculous and most diabolical world that we live in. I am really sorry, but usually I'm a glass half full guy. I try to be as best as I can. Okay. Try to be as positive as I can, going, the world is great, looking at the world through, rose colored glasses or whatever the hell that phrase is. But at the same time, these are the kind of moments where I go, there is so much evil in this world that there is somebody out there that was watching this story in this case unfold. And they said, this is a great idea. Let's send them a ransom note. They're gonna love it, man. They're gonna love it. We're gonna make so much money. Who take this? Who came up with that idea? What person on this planet decided to go, let's write a ransom note for this family that's losing their freaking minds? The most traumatic situation in the world you could ever think of. And they're going, hey, I got a great idea. Let's capitalize on this. You never know. They might give us $1 million. You never know. That's the stupidest thing. And guess what? There's more than just one of them. There's more than just Derek Kayea. I mispronounced it when I did my short. I was like Kalela, but it's Kayea. That little piece of trash. There's other pieces of trash that sat down and penned ransom notes to this family. Who raised you? That's what I'd like to know. Possibly all of them are fake. You realize that? Because they see and know that Savannah Guthrie got them ducats. And so now everybody's like, ooh, let me write a letter. What the F is wrong with people? So Derek Kayea, he has been arrested because he was like, yeah, I sent them text messages to the sister, Annie, and the brother-in-law, Tommaso, in hopes that maybe they would just, reach out and just drop a couple mil in my Bitcoin account. Yeah. And guess what? I guarantee you there's more than just him that decided to jump on this train. Because there's at least 2 other ransom notes. We're hearing there was 3 now. 3 notes, plural. One of them, Savannah Guthrie and the siblings actually believe is real. Because apparently the information that is said in that letter is so graphic and so detailed, it gave reporters shivers down their spine. Like there's no way that they knew that information. You understand? So at least one of them is real. So there's a second one. There's 3. One of them, that piece of trash got arrested. So he gone. Bye-bye. Bye, bitch. Okay. But then you got a second one. Okay? That could be a fugazi as well. And the third one could very well, the one that they took seriously, could very well be a fugazi too, but you never know. You never, ever know. This is, I'm sorry, guys. This is just insane to me. Absolutely insane to me. Let's take a look at this. So he's been arrested after threatening Guthrie family. So Derek Kayea, a Los Angeles man, was arrested on allegations that he sent text messages to members of Nancy Guthrie's family seeking information about sending Bitcoin. So investigators said in a criminal complaint that the messages are not believed to be connected to a separate ransom demand made February 2nd in the case involving Guthrie's disappearance. Oh, okay. So up here, just so you know, LA man is arrested for sending text messages to Nancy Guthrie's daughter, which is Annie, and the son-in-law, which is Tommaso, okay, asking about sending the Bitcoin. The man, Derek Kayea, says he just wanted to see if family would respond. So criminal complaints says the text messages are not linked to the February 2nd ransom demand. So he just randomly was texting them being like, so when you sending that Bitcoin, when you wiring that money, right? So it says here, let's see. Law enforcement was able to determine through open source methods that the 0552 number was associated with a voice over internet protocol, so a VoIP text and call application that allows users to obtain another phone number for their mobile device separate from the number assigned to them by their wireless carrier. So they can use like a fake phone account, like a fake phone number. Law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure request for the 0552 number. Based on the records provided by that particular number, it was registered to a following email address, which is Derek. See, this is a level of dumb. Okay. This is a level of dumb that I've never seen before. Of the likes I've never seen before. Like, it's so dumb. It's direct. I'm sorry. So the number that they used to register, then they were able to do some reverse math and find the email address. And guess what his email address is? It's so profound. It's so unique. DerekKayea@gmail.com. See, this is what I love. It's not like, Sparkle Twirler 7269. You know what I mean? Nope. Just Derek Kayea at gmail.com. You dumb. Oh, yeah. Good on you. Oh, my God. Not Sparkle Twirler 7269. You know what I mean? Not 1776 911. Whoop, whoop. None of that at gmail.com. No, just Derek Kayea at gmail.com. You dumb. Oh, you dumb. Let's go. Okay. So the records also included that same number, his number, okay, the 0552 number, had been accessed from the following IP address, which is the IP address. I'm not going to read all that, at approximately 6:02 p.m. on February 4th of this year, the year of our Lord, 2026. So moving on, law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure request to the internet provider for the actual IP address and determined that the IP address was associated to his residence. So he even did it at mother loving home, man. So he didn't decide to go to like a Starbucks way out somewhere else in another county from far away from his own LA home. No. He was just sitting around in his moldy, probably smelling like Doritos and booty hole, nasty stained boxer briefs, sitting on his probably already decaying couch, watching a rerun of some stupid TV show, and he was texting them this stuff, seeing when you gonna send that money, though. He didn't even leave his front door. He didn't even think about, hey, maybe they might be able to triangulate this and get me in trouble. No, he didn't do that. He was sitting in his skivvies, his nasty ish-stained skivvies, and just smelling like balls, okay? Balls and musty feet and Cheetos. And he sent this text message. Come on now. You dumb. You dumb. So then after his Miranda rights were read, Calleja admitted to sending the two text messages. He admitted using the actual account to the change his phone number into another phone number, okay, from which two actual text messages came from. Calleja stated, dumbass stated, that he pulled family information from a cyber website and that he had been following along and watching TV. Yeah, didn't I just say he was sitting around in his moldy ass, ish-stained skivvies, smelling like balls and Doritos and Cheetos and old cheese and rancid milk? Smell like cat's breath. Smell like cat's breath. Now that's deep. That's deep. And he was watching stuff on TV and he said, hey, I got a great idea. Let me find out let me dox these people. Let me get their information really quick. I'm sorry. I got you guys sick about have you ever smelled cat's breath? It smells terrible. Okay. Just saying. Okay. So somebody who's got a cat is running around. Come here, furball. Come here, furball. I need to smell your breath. But moving on. Your cat's breath, Shanna, your cat's breath does not stink. I understand that. That's fine. Okay. You can protect your cat at all costs. But ugh. Okay? If you ain't taking care of your cats, have mercy. That's another conversation in itself, y'all. Okay? I was just using it for dramatics, for comedy. Moving on. So he was sitting around watching TV and he saw all this and he was following along, seeing what was going on. And he said, hey, I got a great idea. Dumbass decided to go get a fake phone number, but he seemed to get everything registered under his email address where his God-given government name is on. Like I said, he didn't use like Sparkle Twirler 7269. It's Derek Calleja at gmail.com. This man wanted to get caught. Or he's a complete stoner, loser dude who has no idea what the F he's doing. Either one, guys. Either one. Take your pick. I think it's both at the same time, but let's go. He said that he sent the text messages, he was trying to see if the family would respond. Data received showed that approximately 3 minutes after the text messages, Calleja called a family member of Nancy Guthrie, which lasted about 9 seconds. The two text messages have not been linked to a ransom demand. So this guy he didn't even write a ransom. He just sent text messages to them and said, hey, how you doing? How about you send some of that Bitcoin over here? That'd be real nice. That's it. And then because they didn't respond, I'm sure the family was like, the fuck is this? I ain't answering this crap. He said, let me make a phone call. Let me call and see if I can make this happen. Yeah, there's not a whole lot working between those two ears. Yeah, he said, "Hi, how you doing? You think you can send that Bitcoin now?" Yeah. So that's a negative. Dumbass. That's a dumbass. May he get locked up for a long time because he dumb. He dumb. Big time dumb. Now, we have more. We have a whole lot more. We have quite a bit to do, love. Very little time to do it, you know. Time is of the essence, baby girls and baby boys. That sounds weird. Let's just continue. So we got another video because obviously, okay, first off, deadline was passed. They never got any proof of life. And clearly, no Bitcoin was sent to any person. Okay? No Bitcoin was sent to anyone. So, of course, understandably, people are freaking out. Okay? Pardon me. Hold on one second. So, yes, of course, everyone's like, yeah, the deadline was here. We needed to, they needed to send the money, so on and so forth. Money did not get sent because there was no proof of life given. But first, before we go into the video that I want to share with you guys, I want to show you guys this video too.
Guthrie's son and the brother of Savannah put out a video, and it is a direct message to the suspect saying, contact us. Listen.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
Now, here's the thing. This video was taken, and I'm telling you right now, family is absolutely freaking out because the deadline has already been passed, but no one's responding to them. They did that video that we've already seen, the video when they said, hey, can you please send us proof of life? We just need to know that she's okay. And we are ready to talk. We are ready to make some things happen. We'll do whatever it takes to get our mama home, right? Nothing happened. They never received any proof of life at all whatsoever. So this begs the question, are any of these ransom notes real? Are any of them real? Why would they take her? Why would they take her in this way and not respond at all? It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. But let's hear the rest.
So we are on day 5 now, and no sign of the mother and the grandmother. During a news conference, the Pima County Sheriff gave us new details about a timeline painting a picture of the night that led to Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. And on Saturday night, January 31st, 5:32 p.m., Nancy goes by an Uber to her daughter and brother-in-law's home. Annie, that is the daughter's name, and they have dinner. They play games. It's like a typical night. 9:48 p.m., the family drops her back off at her home, and the garage door opens. At 9:50 p.m., the garage door closes, and it is assumed that she gets ready for and then goes to bed.
Well, then my question is, what happens between 9:48 and 9:50? Why did it take 2 minutes for the garage to close? I mean, I get it if there was standing, if she was sitting there out there talking to whoever dropped her off, which is, by the way, sheriff has been saying one thing and then he says something completely different at this new press conference, which is wild because he said earlier that Tommaso was the one that allegedly was the one who dropped her off. Tommaso Cioni was the one who actually dropped Mama Guthrie off. And then at this press conference, he changes his tune and he sings a whole different note. And he's like, "Oh, I don't know where you guys are getting that story. No, we cannot say that. A family member dropped him off. A family member dropped her off. That's it." Huh? You said before, cabron, you said before it was Tommaso. Now you're saying you can't tell us anything at all? Now it's just a family member. You want to know what's going on? I have a feeling it has to do with a report that was given. And now they're freaking out. Local law enforcement's freaking out. So they don't want to give us nothing anymore. That's what I think. Now, I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody. Real talk. I got nothing but love for everybody on this platform, on whoever makes the shows and all that. I appreciate the things that are being said and the reports. Keep reporting. Keep giving us the tea, as some would say, right? But now I think 5-0 is mad and he freaking out. And so now he's like, "I don't want to say nothing to you guys anymore." But he's retracting everything, and now he's looking like boo-boo the fool. Because one day he says one thing, the next day now he's saying something completely different. And now he's trying to mess with our minds. Well, all we're trying to do is get the mother-loving timeline correct. Don't worry, I got a video for you guys to see that breaks it all down for us. It's fantastic. You'll see it in just a little bit. Trust me. There are things that he said before that he's trying to retract and change the story. I want you to remember, he said that this woman was snatched out of her bed. And that was the story that everybody was running with. She was snatched out of her bed, snatched out of her bed, snatched out of her bed. And then the very next day, he's like, "No, that's not what I said, guys. No. I meant that as a turn of phrase. It was a turn of phrase, guys. It was a turn of phrase." What? Now, here's the thing. For a sheriff that's not used to this kind of high profile of a case, that kind of thing, maybe he's just not used to dealing with media, right? Maybe he's not hasn't had any media training. But one thing is for sure, you have to make sure what you say stays consistent. Because then now everybody's going to start looking at you sideways, and you don't want that. Okay? You don't want that. But let's continue. Okay?
On Sunday, February 1st, 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera is disconnected. 2:12 a.m., the software detects a person on the camera. No video is available because there is no subscription paid for.
So they did not have a subscription paid for to save the data. So it detects somebody there, but it doesn't download or even save the images. So even if it was like sent up to the cloud, there is no cloud. You see, it gets recorded over, and that's it. Why? I don't understand. That's the one thing I don't understand. If you're going to have Ring cameras or Nest cameras or whatever the hell these security cameras are called, why not pay, even if it's the bare minimum subscription, why not pay the subscription? Only thing I can think of is either her subscription got shut off. Someone, like, as far as it being an inside job, they just turned it off. They just, probably she, I'm sure there's payments, certain things that she pays for that are paid automatically. You know what I mean? They just get paid automatically every month. And maybe somebody swooped in there and just was like, that $4.99, that $9.99, that $29.99 a month, she won't notice, and just took her off paying it. Yeah, like somebody intentionally shut that mug off. Why, you may ask? Because they're about to do something sinister, and they're planning, they're plotting. That's the other thing I would like to know. If she had a subscription, when was the last time that subscription was paid for? Because if that is any factor in any of this, and this was days before or if this was months before the subscription was shut off, then maybe this is something that's been planned out for a while or planned at the very, very last minute. Now, I want to remind you, I'm not pointing any fingers at Tommaso, at Annie, and at no one, because we don't know anything. They don't even know anything. They don't know a damn thing. 5-0 don't know a damn mother-loving thing right now. Okay? I wish they did know something. They at least have the timeline, which helps us. But that's about it. So between the time that the doorbell camera was disconnected and 2:22 a.m., what was going on between that time? Software detects a person on camera, but we don't know if that's her or if that's the assailant. Then at a whole 45 minutes later, let's just say roughly, give or take a few minutes, okay? I'm rounding up. Her body's been moved. She has been moved from the house, or far enough for her pacemaker to not be connected to her Apple devices. So for a whole 45 minutes or so, okay, just roughly, somebody goes to the door, disconnects that camera, the doorbell camera, and then another that's a half hour. It's like a half hour-ish. A little less than a half hour. Doorbell camera disconnects. Then at 2:12, software detects a person, which it could be her or could be somebody else. Right? And then at 2:30 or 2:28, she has been moved far enough for her phone to go. She is nowhere near. Her pacemaker is nowhere near this phone right now. Boop. Disconnected. It's 45 minutes, roughly. What happened in this 45 minutes? Something ain't right. Something ain't right. Clearly something ain't right. But what's wild is that they don't have any footage. They have zero footage, y'all. Zero footage of this whole situation. Is this the perfect abduction? I don't know, y'all. Whoever did this had to have made a mistake. Where did they make that mistake?
So that was not paid for, something that authorities say it's unfortunate because then that means they cannot get the video. That means it is recorded over. 2:28 a.m., the pacemaker app that Nancy has shows it is disconnected from her phone. Then there is a big just window of time. 11:56 a.m., family checks on Nancy because they haven't heard from her. 12:03 p.m., 911 call is made to law enforcement. She didn't show up to church. For more now on what is happening with the search.
Let me just pause that really quick. One thing I'd like to get confirmed is if she was actually visiting, like going to service virtually, or if she was actually physically showing up to church. That's all I want to know. Did she physically show up to church? And is she one to physically show up to church, or was she worshiping online? That's one thing that needs to be confirmed at some point here very, very soon. All right? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. I'm wondering why they keep doing that too, Nicole B. Like they just keep on leaving out information. Like that information should be here. Especially, and I'm going to keep saying that until I'm blue in the face, until we get that answered. Who called Annie or Tommaso to basically say, hey, she didn't show up to church? Can you check on her? Yeah, no, we've heard that. Yes, Miss Lady, we've heard many, 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 many versions of this story where they said that she was watching it virtually, but but she clearly wasn't watching it then. Sunday morning, she was taken at that time. And if there's no way that these people who are watching virtually as well would know if she's watching or not, then who's the one who called Annie and Tommaso to basically say, hey, go check on mama. She didn't show up to a virtual worship service. That doesn't make sense to me, right? That just doesn't make sense to me, guys. I'm just saying. But let's continue. We got to keep it rolling.
Search for Nancy. We're going to turn to Megan Spector live in Tucson. Megan, what is happening? And again, really just a desperate search. And we heard from Cameron tonight, no contact from whoever might have her. I'm sure the family is just desperate.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like from that video, from other videos that we saw Savannah post yesterday. We do know that the FBI agent in charge, he's the one that confirmed with us today about that deadline in the ransom note to make a transfer that was set for 5 p.m. tonight. Clearly, that deadline has passed, and based on that video that we just showed you from the family, they still haven't been contacted by anyone involved.
The family wants to be contacted. They know time is of the essence. And if those that may have Nancy are watching this, the family is ready to talk, give proof of life.
Now, the FBI did mention there were 2 deadlines in that ransom note, the second for Monday. When asked if the note mentioned what would happen if the deadline was missed, the FBI said they're not going into those specifics. In this press conference earlier today, a $50,000 reward was announced for information leading to the discovery of Nancy or the arrest and conviction of anyone involved in her disappearance. And we've also learned the FBI has made 1 arrest related to an imposter ransom demand, and their message is loud and clear for anyone who tries to do the same.
Those imposters who are trying to take advantage and profit from this situation, we will investigate and ensure you are held accountable for your actions.
So don't be dumb. Don't even try it. Don't be dumb. Don't be dumb.
At this point, the Pima County Sheriff says there are no named suspects, but they are continuing to work very closely with the FBI and follow up on any and all leads. We're live tonight in Tucson. Megan Spector, Fox 10 News.
Yeah, this is just bizarre, Megan. And what is clear, too, is whoever is responsible has certainly covered their tracks so far, because the imposter ransom note, they didn't, and they were caught rapidly. And obviously right now the FBI is working very closely with local authorities, and hopefully they can get the break that they need in this case.
Definitely. I think that's what we're all looking for. We're hoping for her family. Of course, we saw the Tucson community come together with this same message of prayer, hoping that she's found soon and that she's found safe.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'm hoping so too, right? Obviously all of us are, a lot of us are angry about this situation, and we're all trying to figure this whole thing out. We're all trying to crack the case. We're all trying to make sense of this whole situation. This is insane. I will be honest. This is absolutely is insane, and very frustrating. You got the brother now, who it seems like he's the quiet one out of the group. Now speaking out and basically saying, please, we are trying to talk to you. We are trying to reach out to you. Please, 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 please. Let's get a conversation going. Right now, here's something that I've been wanting to show you guys as well. So Harvey Levin, from TMZ. He is now giving us more details from the ransom note. He doesn't give us a whole lot. But he gives us enough to get an idea that maybe this ransom note that they are actually responding to, the Guthrie family, they're saying that seems to be a lot more legit. So he was on Sean Hannity. He says a lot here. So let's just play it and take a listen.
Harvey Levin is with us. Harvey, my friend, wish I saw you under better circumstances. Let's talk a little bit what you learned as this was going on in real time while you're doing the show.
Well, I kind of need to back this up to Tuesday when we received what looked like a ransom letter. And so we called the sheriff's department in Pima, and they took the information. There was something in that letter that caught my eye at the end where they mentioned both, now I can say it because the FBI said it, an Apple Watch and a damaged floodlight. What I found interesting, because we knew she wore an Apple Watch, there are pictures of her with Savannah with that watch, but they mentioned where the watch was, the placement of the watch in the house. And that's not something that was out there. So
unless that is somebody who is working in the investigation or knows somebody that's working closely in the investigation and was able to get some very important information, and they wrote it into the ransom letter because they're hoping that maybe they can scoop a bag too. I'm just saying at this point, I mean, you got a Derek Calleja, okay, smelling like Famunda cheese and Doritos in his skivvies, sending out text messages by simply doxing them and trying to be like, send me some money. But you never know. There could be other people that see this situation and see this as a ample opportunity to try to make a couple mil fast. If they're that desperate, right? If they're not smart and are desperate to be like, we'll give you the money, fine. So the money sent, without actually asking for proof of life. You see what I'm saying? So again, that's possible. I just leave it on the table. That possibility is possible. Just saying.
I had a long talk with the sheriff's department. A couple hours later, the FBI called, and they wanted a lot of information. So when I said there are two deadlines, yes, there is one that changes the demand, and that's the one that that has already passed. And the one on Monday is far more consequential.
Well, I want to go back to that word consequential, because what you said on your show, something is supposed to change if they don't pay the money by the first deadline, quote, but the second deadline is much more important. And now you're saying much more consequential. Look, I'm not going to ask you to disclose anything you can't disclose, but it sounds dire. It sounds like the urgency to find her. Time is certainly of the essence. Number one, for medication, her age, her health, and it sounds like there's a greater threat behind this.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're reading it right. I will say the letter begins, and again, we're not sure that this is really written by the person who has Nancy. But I will say the letter begins by saying she is safe but scared. And they go on to say she knows exactly what the demand is. And so they are, through us telling the family, and obviously the sheriff's department gave the family the letter we received, exactly what they're demanding, and they're saying that Nancy is aware of it. They are also saying, Sean, and I find this, pretty interesting when you look at what happened today. They're saying that this will be their only communication, and they are done communicating, negotiating. Here's the deal, and that's it. And as the clock ticks, I think that's one of the reasons the FBI and other authorities have, gotten desperate here, because as far as we can tell, it's impossible to trace the origin of this email. And I will say that there are real reasons based on what's written there that I believe that this person is in the in the radius of the Tucson area. And there's something very specific in there, and I'm sure the FBI keyed in on this a while ago. And it makes me think that whoever did this, if whoever wrote this letter is in that Tucson area. And I think it's one of the reasons, too, that they sent the same email to one of the local stations in Tucson. This person is familiar with the Tucson television market. And based on the way it's written, I believe that this is somebody in that wide Tucson area, not in Tucson, could be in New Mexico. They could be in New Mexico now, but they are definitely familiar with Tucson.
All right. It's interesting because both you and Nancy Grace, both old friends of mine, both have the same theory that it's a local person. When you first read this, and as you examine this, and as you talk to law enforcement, you know, you have great instincts, Harvey. I mean, you've been a success for decades on television. You kind of have a nose for what's true and not true. Does your gut tell you this is very real to you, that this is a ransom, a kidnapping ransom?
Well, look, I don't know for sure. I felt that when I called the sheriff and told them about these two items, that would be a telltale thing. That if those items or something in the description match something that we don't know, that the public didn't know, then it gives credence to it. And again, I got a call from the FBI a few hours later, and they were very interested. They were on the phone with my IT team. As far as I know, and my IT team has been hard at work on this. I know the feds have. I don't think they're going to be able to figure out where this email originated from. I know the Bitcoin address is real. So what I will say is this, that this is not a letter that was thrown together in a couple of minutes. It is a very specific, well-organized, layered letter that really lays things out. This is not AI. You know, if an English teacher were to look at the structure and the grammar and everything else, I think they would have no notes. So this is somebody, it's not a crazy person who's writing this. I mean, they may be crazy, but they have the capacity to make demands, say what they want, say what they don't want, and it's very, very structured.
So
Yeah, like I said, this is I think it's very helpful that he's giving us this information. At least the general public wants to know what the heck is going on, right? And wants to know what it entails, what this ransom note entails. I know that they can't give us everything, but it does give us some idea of, like, you know, he's like, it gives the vibe that, hey, that they're still in the area. They could still be in the area. They give off very, very detailed information that no one would know except for the family and maybe law enforcement. And I think that's also huge. It's not somebody just going, hey, I got a Bitcoin. Can you send it? Can you send a little Bitcoin my way? And I'll let your mama go. You know, it's not that. At least it's not that. They're basically saying, you know, she's terrified. She's alive and breathing, but she's terrified. They're in the Tucson area. You know what I mean? So again, like, I guess the ongoing burning question is, if this is fake, how would they know all that information that he hasn't really gone into too much detail on? But he's saying enough to give the idea of, like, yeah, it's the real deal. And yeah, it took them days to send the note. Yes, it did. It took them days to send a note. But at the same time, though, maybe they wanted to, maybe it took time to get her where they needed to get her at. You see what I'm saying? Maybe it took time to get her located, to get her in a place without her getting detected. And of course, they didn't want to get in, you know, maybe they're trying to figure out how they were going to get out that letter without it tracing back to them in some sort of way. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, the floodlight is very specific. There's other things that I think are important that I think are kind of dead giveaways that they know what happened to her and that they do have her. Apple Watch, meh, whatever. Everybody for the most part wears a watch. And if you look at things online, she's always wearing her Apple Watch. You see what I'm saying? Like, okay, you could do a quick little search online and you could watch TV and find out, oh yeah, she left all her Apple devices behind, AKA Apple Watch. So yeah, you could do all that and go like, she doesn't have her Apple Watch on her. It's like, oh, good job. We've been saying that all throughout these press conferences. So what else do you know? What other proof do you have that she's with you? You see what I'm saying? So again, I do appreciate him giving us a tiny bit of information. Maybe he can't give us everything, but he at least is telling us something, right?
Family has now reached out twice publicly, and it is your strong belief, and you've seen the letter. You got the first copy that I know of.
Exactly.
It's your strong belief that, in fact, this will be their only means of communication. You don't believe they'll be responding to Savannah or her brother.
Well, look, Sean, that's what they say in the letter. There's a substantial demand here. And what the Guthries have said is they want proof of life. And just saying in the letter, she's okay but scared, doesn't prove life. And so I don't know what's going to happen. Will whoever, if this letter is legitimate, will this person have a change of heart and try and send something? I don't know. But the way it's written, they say this is it. It's the only communication, and the police aren't going to be able to help you. They're that bold saying that. So as far as I know, the police don't have a lot of clues here, because that's one of the reasons they were so open today at the news conference and provided more details. But I will tell you, and I think this is, I just cannot overstate my gut here. And it's more than my gut. There is a phrase in this email that absolutely makes me believe this person who wrote this, and if they're telling the truth, that Nancy is within a radius of the Tucson area, not in Tucson right now, but in a radius. It could be New Mexico. I don't know how far, but I think at least what the authorities have is they've got a radius, and that's something.
I mean, that's definitely something. I'm just hoping that they're listening, right? I'm just hoping that they're listening, that the 5-0 is listening to this information, and they're doing whatever they need to do to get her home. It is just very strange to me that a message has been put out here and they still haven't responded at all. 2 messages to be exact. The family, the Guthrie kids, got together and they said, please give us proof of life. Deadline shows up. It's 5 o'clock. Nothing. Brother goes out and does a video. Please send us proof of life. That's all we're asking. Send us proof of life. And what happens? Nothing. Nada. We don't hear anything from them. It's strange. I'm going to be honest. It's very strange. There is something I saw that a video that I saw, and I appreciate this breakdown because we excuse me, we need to see this. It's from Jesse Waters. Now I know some people might not be a fan of this guy or anything, but it is what it is. Okay, he did a breakdown, and I appreciated this breakdown because he threw out the receipts and he showed, hey, it doesn't make any sense. But there's some things that don't make any sense. He gave us breakdowns of what's going on. But it's also what I want us to really focus on is what the sheriff's saying here. The sheriff says one thing and then he says something completely different a few days later, like today, right? He says, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. We didn't talk about anyone. We didn't say this or we didn't say that." It's like wait a second, you did though. You did. It's documented. It's written in articles. You said it on camera multiple times. So what are you talking about? And I get it. He's tired. He's worked to the bone. But I also feel that there's, there's certain reports that I think leaked some of what they were planning on doing. And so now he's in his fifis and he's like, well, F you, I ain't telling you nothing. In fact, I'm just going to gaslight you and take everything back that I said. That's what it feels like a little bit. Okay. But let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this breakdown.
Fox News alert, major developments in the mysterious disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mother. The FBI is deploying task force specialists all across Arizona. A reward of $50,000 has been set for tips that lead to Nancy Guthrie's location. At this hour, the Guthrie family is waiting for proof of life. And Savannah's brother, Cameron, just released this video. Watch.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
And in terms of suspects, the sheriff hasn't ruled anyone out.
And I want to be very clear. At this time, we have not identified a suspect or a person of interest in this case. We are working our best to do that. But to be clear, we have nobody of interest or any suspects that you would consider a prime suspect. We're just not there. We're not there yet.
Tonight, there's some new details. On the alleged ransom note, it includes deadlines, and one of the clocks just ran out.
I think we start to look at what the deadlines were in the note. First, I think was 5 o'clock today, and then it had a second deadline after that. So we are continuing in a normal kidnapping case. There would be contact by now, trying to discuss that. But those are the timeframes we are looking at as we move forward. I think a second demand was for next Monday.
The first deadline,
Which still doesn't make any sense. First deadline was for today, 5 o'clock. Second deadline is for Monday. And she's been without her medication for how long? And they're that confident that they're going to be able to keep her out of harm's way, for lack of a better term, without her meds? I don't know, y'all. This is just weird.
deadlines passed, and as far as we know, the supposed kidnappers haven't proved Nancy Guthrie's alive. Here's how it all started on Saturday night. Nancy Guthrie took an Uber to her daughter's house nearby. The daughter's named Annie. She lives with her husband, Tommaso. Dinner, games, normal night. At 9:48, a family member dropped her back off at home. But who?
We know she took an Uber to Annie's house, but can you confirm whether it was Annie or her son-in-law, Tommaso, who took her home that night?
I think the timeline that the sheriff provided was
Here
a
we
family
go.
member, but
Just family. We're going to go with family.
Why won't they tell us which family member dropped her off? Because yesterday, the sheriff told the New York Times who it was. Quote, Miss Guthrie's son-in-law, Tommaso Cioni, dropped her off and ensured she made it inside safely before leaving.
What's up with that? Just yesterday, he said something different. Today, now it was his family. We're just going to go with family, which basically means he's saying it's Tommaso. And that's my process of elimination, common sense, you know what I mean? Just goes off in my head. It's just woo, woo. Instead of, you know what I mean? Because he could have easily just not said anything, but he said family. It was his family. No, so it was Tommaso. Andiamo, Tommaso. Andiamo. So what actually happened here? What happened? Why did he suddenly change his mind? And go back and say, nope, 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 it wasn't Tommaso. It was just a friend. It was family. It was family. It was family. What's going on here?
Sheriff added. Now, if they know who dropped her off, why a day later are they being so vague? At 1:47 a.m., Nancy's doorbell camera disconnects. Authorities say it was physically removed, and it's still missing. Just 25 minutes later, at 2:12 a.m., Security software flags a person on a camera, but there's a problem.
At 2:12 a.m., software detects a person on a camera, but there's no video available. They had no subscription, and therefore it would rewrite itself. It just kind of loops, right, and covers up.
Just 16
Crazy.
minutes after a person's detected at her house, the pacemaker app connected to her phone was disconnected. Makes sense because her phone was left behind. Now, Sunday morning, Nancy doesn't show up for church. Unusual for her. By noon Sunday, family members go in to check on her, and she's not there, and the police are called. Investigators say the case is now entering a critical forensic phase. They've also confirmed blood was found at the house, and they know who it belongs to.
I think you all know of the blood on the porch. That was one we did. It came back to Nancy.
They're reviewing surveillance video from nearby homes, cell tower data, and license plate cameras. But no Nancy. She lives in a remote Arizona desert community. Homes spaced far apart, surrounded by desert foliage. As for the ransom note, investigators haven't ruled out a hoax. There was a third ransom note, but it turned out to be fake, linked back to Derek Calleja. He demanded Bitcoin from the Guthries. One local news anchor whose station received a different note, the one that authorities are locked in on, says the details were terrifying.
A lot of it is information that only someone who is holding her for ransom would know. Some very sensitive information and things that people who weren't there when she was taken captive would know.
Investigators say the letter included no proof of life and no way to contact whoever sent it.
There has been no proof of life, and there was no other demands within that letter. So they're still waiting for communication.
Does the ransom note that you're working establish any communication protocols in it?
No, it does not.
Harvey Levin at TMZ just spoke to CNN. He received the same ransom note. Here's what he said.
They began the letter. I don't think I'm giving anything away here. They began the letter by saying that that Nancy is okay but scared. So they say she is okay, and also that she's aware of the letter and the demands.
Time's of the essence, and mistakes may have been made. Authorities initially cleared the scene, Nancy's house. Then yesterday, they went back in.
You had the crime scene process. You said you went back out there. Your partners wanted to see it. But you guys were actively taking out evidence yesterday. Was there something you missed the first time, or did you get a new piece of information that led you to believe you needed to go back out and take more than you had that first day?
We may go out to a crime scene and think we've got it all, go analyze evidence, and something comes back and says, hey, did you check this? We're not going to just say, oops, and not go. Absolutely. In this instance, it really was the FBI just wanted to go, hey, can we take a look at it?
The sheriff cleared the crime scene before the FBI even arrived and didn't have deputies posted at the house. Apparently, reporters were just strolling right up to the door and taking pictures of blood stains, contaminating the crime scene. We also aren't getting clear answers as to whether there were signs of forced entry. At first, sources told the AP it was forced entry. Now, the sheriff says this.
Oh, here's the other thing. Someone had mentioned there was forced entry. I have no clue where that comes from. We have been very consistent. We are not discussing that at all, whether it's forced entry or not forced entry. That is something we're just not discussing. So I don't know where anybody got that information.
He's posted at the house. Apparently, reporters were just strolling right up to the door and taking pictures of blood stains, contaminating the crime scene. We also aren't getting clear answers as to whether there were signs of forced entry. At first, sources told the AP it was forced entry. Now, the sheriff says this.
So sources were telling the Associated Press, which is a very reliable, very, very reliable news media platform. sources were saying that there was forced entry for sure. And then you hear the sheriff say this today.
Oh, here's the other thing. Someone had mentioned there was forced entry. I have no clue where that comes from. We have been very consistent. We are not discussing that at all, whether it's forced entry or not forced entry. That is something we're just not discussing. So I don't know where anybody got that information.
So sources said it. How reliable are those sources that said that to the Associated Press, right? Is that police themselves saying that out loud? You see, yeah, the sheriff has not been consistent at all. He has been singing one tune, and then he changes the tune every 5 seconds. Remember, he said she was taken from her bed. She was dragged out of her bed. And then the very next day he says, oh, I didn't mean it like that. I meant it that was a turn of phrase. That was a figure of speech. Huh? Like I said, I don't know how vetted or, prepared this sheriff is for this type of high profile case. This feels like, it feels like this is a movie. You see what I'm saying? Good night, Lucy. Good night, Lucy. But again, here's the thing. It just doesn't make any sense, right? It's coming from a movie. Small town sheriff, where she was just damn near dragged out of her own bed. And everyone goes, oh my gosh, dragged from her bed. And he's like, oh, wait, now. Everybody, don't get your panties all up in a bunch now. I just meant that as a turn of phrase. You understand? That was just a turn of phrase. That's basically what we're living with. And you got the dim-witted, deputy, the rookie, you know what I'm saying? He don't know anything. He's eager. He's real earnest, but he's just dumb as a bag of rocks. But he's still part of the department. You know what I'm saying? Where's that? I feel like this is that. This is like a true crime dramedy that we're watching in real time. Except there's no funny stuff going on. This is not comedy. It's all sad. But yeah, it is an absolute mess. It's an absolute mess. Oh, have mercy.
So the sheriff won't tell us whether there was forced entry or not. He probably has his reasons. If there was no forced entry, then someone knew how to get inside. Maybe somebody was already there when she was dropped off. We don't even know if Nancy locked her doors. She entered through the garage, and 2 minutes passed before the garage closed. Was someone laying in wait? We don't know. We spotted this last night. It's called a Celebrite device. High-tech equipment used to extract data from phones and computers. Agents brought it over to Savannah's sister's house yesterday. That's where the siblings recorded their emotional video. Was the FBI searching the Guthrie's family phones? Quite possible. Nancy Guthrie is 84 years old. It is incredibly rare to kidnap someone in their 80s. 0.2% of kidnappings are people of that age. If this was about money, why send ransom notes to TMZ? Why not go directly to the Guthrie family? And why not include a way to contact them? Last night, the Guthries begged for answers.
We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her.
At this point, the only thing keeping the family's spirit up is hope.
I am very concerned, y'all. I am very concerned because honestly, first deadline has already passed. They have not shown any proof of life yet. You never know. Maybe tomorrow will be the day that they send a video showing that she's alive and well and all that. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Because again, the second deadline, which still does not make any earthly sense to me at all, but that second deadline is supposed to be on Monday. they still want proof of life. Doesn't matter how many ways you send them a ransom note being like, give us the money. They're going to be like, no, we want proof of life. We ain't giving you not one red cent until we see proof of life, baby. And I don't blame them. I don't. But maybe tomorrow will be the day that they send something sent to the family so that we can see what's going on. The other thing too is like, I don't know what the hell's going on here. Like, you know, as far as we don't know the dynamics inside that home, inside Annie and Tommaso's home right now, we don't know, right? It might be completely torn, you know, East Side versus West Side type stuff. You never know. We don't know. I just feel like they're all just pacing back and forth, trying to figure things out, not sleeping, not eating, stressed is all get out. But one thing's for sure, she is still out there and no one knows where she is. And if this ransom note is real, then that means she's still alive, but we need to see proof of life. And I'm hoping that they do proof of life by tomorrow. I'm hoping. Mom interrupted. Thank you so much. I think they threatened to hurt her after the first deadline. And you know what happens after the second deadline? Just the theory. That's a good point. Maybe they were like, yeah, you know, that's a good point. I completely forgot, you know, the millions of, you know, kidnapping movies I've seen, you know, there are those other ones where it's like, if you don't do this, we're going to cut off her hair or something like that. You know what I mean? I know it's a lot more severe than that, but you get what I'm saying. It'll be like, we'll cut off every toe on her feet. And then if you don't do what we ask by every hour, we'll start moving up. You see what I'm saying? But that's in the movies, you know? So again, we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. Hold on. What did TMZ say on Don Lemon? What did TMZ say on Don Lemon? Yeah, I don't know. They might be getting catfished. They might be. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that they do have her, and yeah, after first deadline, something bad happens. Yeah, I guess then that could be it too. That could be it too. Let me crank this out. So, Reed, thank you so much for gifting one membership. Thank you. Slambo. Thank you so much. How do you get triangulated on your day off? How do you get triangulated on your day off, Smokey? Yeah, yeah, no doubt. That dude is so dumb. Let me explain how dumb. No, I already said enough how dumb he is. Okay, let's just be real. Okay, Sean Atwood's message. Yes, I shall. Okay, shout out to Sean Atwood. Super May, thank you so much for the love. I'm very worried about Mrs. Guthrie not having her meds. I'm trying to stay positive, but yeah, I mean, I keep thinking that maybe if this is an inside job, maybe they do have the meds for her. You know, maybe they have enough meds for her. I don't know. You see what I'm saying? But we'll see. We'll see. Savannah interviewed Virginia Giuffre. Really? What's interesting is that Giuffre has been exonerated, at least in the Epstein files that have been released as of late. That's also very interesting, too. So we should be believing that woman. Unfortunately, it's very tragic that she's no longer here. And, you know, there were people that were calling her a liar. It's absolutely insane. Savannah interviewing Virginia Giuffre. Yeah, she did. But I don't know if this is an Epstein connection. I know there's a lot of people that are like really, you know, going ham on this whole thing, basically saying, oh, yeah, it's all Epstein, you know, her husband used to work with X, Y, and Z, and therefore, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know if it's that deep. It could very much be at the surface level of someone just trying to make some money, trying to get money, and it may not be anything political. It could be something political, but it may not be, right? I feel like they would have said that in the ransom note. You know, you decide to interview Virginia Giuffre. This what you get. You know what I mean? Like they would have said something. And I don't see why the likes of Harvey Levin wouldn't just give that information, that part out. Like, this is clearly a politically motivated thizang. You see what I'm saying? So I hope it's not that. It'd be ridiculous if it was, you know? Only time will tell, though. No Joy here. Thank you so much for the love. Look up Daily Mail. Some info on the case. What info? I've already opened up Daily Mail, and it's everything is Nancy Giuffre. So I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for. If there's anything new, let me know. But it's all like everything's plastered Virginia Giuffre. Real talk. Now, not Virginia Giuffre. I'm sorry, Nancy Guthrie. Sorry, my apologies. Claudia, thank you so much for the love. I don't believe she survived the kidnapping, let alone being held captive. As for medication, that's probably just to distract people. She's 84 with a pacemaker. Shock alone would have been tremendous. You know, you got a good point. But I don't know. You know, you'd be surprised what the human body can endure, regardless of being 84 years old. Yes, there is shock. Yes, there's all those factors to put in consideration. But I don't know if it's like this whole situation caused her to have some sort of heart attack or stroke. That's still possible, sure. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, maybe not. You know? Let's see. We're going to have to see what happens. Because here's the thing. If come Monday, nothing happens, then I'm thinking she's gone. If there's no proof of life from right now till Monday, we go through the whole mother-loving weekend and we don't see not one stitch of proof of life, she didn't make it. That's what I truly think. But here it is. I am still holding on to hope. I am holding on to that. Claudia, again, thank you so much. How does she enter through the garage if she doesn't walk more than 50 feet alone? That's a good question. I think someone is pulling your leg somehow. I'm kind of curious about that too. It's a good point. Why through the garage? But we don't know the layout of the house. Maybe through the garage, it's closer to go upstairs or closer to go to her bed. You see what I'm saying? Her bedroom. Maybe it's closer that way. You never know, right? The 2 minutes of her taking this long to close the garage, I find a little bit weird. But it could be a million different things. It could have been like, oh, he helped her bring in the leftovers that she had from dinner, you know, and put it into her refrigerator. And then he was like, okay, you're okay. And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. You know, I'm good. And Tommaso says, okay, good night. And she just waves at him as she closes the garage and he gets in his car and he pulls off. That's possible. That could take 2 minutes to do that. You know? So yeah, they could have been chatting it up, talking about God knows what, anything. So that's possible too. But I don't know. You know what I mean? But here, really quick, guys, hit the like button down below. I see a bunch of you guys in here. Can we just get it to 1K really quick? Okay. It doesn't take much for you guys to hit the like button, and we are almost at 1K. If you could just hit that like button down below, that would be greatly appreciated. Of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Of course, if you're watching on other platforms, don't forget to hit that follow button. Follow, especially follow me. If you're following and watching on Facebook or anything of that sort, follow me on Facebook. And of course, you know, if you want to follow on TikTok as well, you're more than welcome to as well. It's all the same. The Pascal Show, TikTok is the Pascal Show 1. All right. So go over there, follow, subscribe, because I'm giving you guys a lot of updates that sometimes I don't have time to get on camera to do those videos to give you guys those updates. So yeah, follow on Facebook big time. All right. Hit that like button, please, and thank you. Beautiful Disaster, thank you so much. Abduction is weird. TMZ said they they smart, serious, yet maybe they are smart / serious, yet who goes into something like this with no way to contact them? Yeah. Didn't they say something about like, we're serious about this, but no conversation, no time for talking, right? No negotiations. But there's always room for negotiations. There's always room to make a deal. At least that's from what I've learned. So maybe, they say that to add intimidation and strike fear into the person who wants to get their loved one home, right? They're trying to establish dominance, you know what I mean? Like, no negotiations. But then it's like, well, I gave you half now and the other half in like 2 days. You know what I'm saying? How do they expect to get away with it? That's the question I'd like to know. If they're not, how are they getting in contact with? Are they just going to keep sending proof of life and information over to TMZ, and then TMZ has to be the middleman, to send the information to the Guthries? I mean, it's just weird. It's a very strange setup. I don't get it. I don't get it. But we're slowly but surely trying to get it figured out ourselves over here too. I think that over time we're going to get more information, but it is just strange. It's just strange what's going on here. How everything's gone down. Hold on. Because there is something that I wanted to share with y'all, which is interesting. Yeah, it's crazy. Everybody and their mama's talking about this. Everybody and their mama talking about this. Hold on. There was a video that I was going to show you, but I don't see it anymore. I lost it. Apparently, they got 5-0 going door to door now. They're walking down the street going, well, not right now, but they were earlier today going door to door, knocking on people's doors, talking to them about what has happened. So they're going down through the neighborhood asking them, like, did you see anything suspicious? Blah, blah, blah. Pretty crazy, right? That's something that's, oh, there it is. That's something that's actually happening in real time. Yeah, police in Nancy Guthrie's case are going door to door in her neighborhood, asking for camera footage. Suspect may live in Annie's a neighborhood, or stalked Nancy, or traveled through their neighborhood. Let's take a look at this.
Will you all be canvassing the entirety of the neighborhood?
Crazy. So they're going door to door, asking people questions, trying to get some information, blah, blah, blah. Where is that woman? Where is Nancy? Right? Someone just added me this. Thank you so much for the comment on X. Maybe the suspect in the Nancy Guthrie case can't communicate because everyone, family and police, are around them, and they never intended to communicate anyway. Maybe a family member hurt Nancy, and the kidnap story is just a red herring. That is still something. And thank you so much for the comment, FAFO Society. Thanks so much for the comment on X. Here's the thing. If that's the case, I think that's honestly the main case right there, right? That we're all wondering what actually happened when Tommaso, just so you know, according to the sheriff via New York Times, Tommaso dropped off Mama Guthrie at the house. He was the last one to see her alive. Could there have been something that happened? Could she have said something that pissed him off? Could he have asked for money? Couple bags. Could that have happened? Could they, Annie and Tommaso, had that conversation with her and she was like, I don't have that kind of money. I'm so sorry. I can't help you. That pissed him off. Anything's possible. Like I said, all those possibilities are still on the table. It'd be irresponsible for us to take those possibilities off the table when the police haven't even ruled those things out. They haven't said, oh yeah, he's in the clear, she's in the clear. No, they're the last two people to see her alive and breathing. So what actually happened here, right? And until they are completely exonerated, released from the list of suspects, I think we all should be side-eyeing them until we hear otherwise. Now, am I going to automatically be like, oh, they did it? No, hell no. That's irresponsible for us to do that as well. There's no proof except for the fact that they are the last people to see her alive and breathing. That's it. We don't know anything else. We don't have any proof of them running in and out of the house. We don't have any footage of them getting caught, taking off cameras and smashing cameras and whatnot. We don't have any of that information, right? We don't have any of that information. All we have is that they had dinner with her, allegedly played mahjong, then they brought her inside, or they dropped her off home, and they left her. And that's it. And then crazy stuff happened at 1 something in the morning. Late 2 o'clock in the morning, right? General, what's up? Janobi, thank you. I'm calling 2 things. Even if money is given, they will never get her back. Woo, too big of a chance. And I think it's a home health aide that refilled her prescriptions for her and had helped with this plan. Yes, everyone's a suspect, Black Flame. Absolutely. Now, 2 things. If money is ever given, I don't think money's ever going to get given. I think money will be given, but I don't think they'll ever actually get their hands on it. Does that make sense? It'll be there as the carrot, the dangling carrot. And then the bunny rabbit, the disgusting, nasty bunny rabbit, will come out, will emerge from its little hole, and then they will pounce. And then hopefully they will, Mama will be safe and she'll be saved. Money will be given. I think that she will be saved. True, I get it's too big of a chance. But at the same time, like, the only sinister thing I can think of is they give the kids a false hope, a false sense of hope. Say, drop X amount of dollars, right? And then you'll get her at this particular corner of this particular street. You'll find her sitting at a bus stop type thing, right? But I think that this particular person may not do that. They may get the money and then they may not, maybe something sinister will happen. Like she'll, you know what I mean? But I hope not. I hope that's not the case. We'll see. Hopefully, whoever this bad person is, or these bad people, get caught. Here's the other thing. It could be a home health aide. Refilled her prescriptions for her, knew all her information, and got hooked up with this plan. I truly believe that whoever took her did not operate alone. This is at least a 2-person job. At least. Because you got to remember, okay, think about this too. Think about this too. And General Janobi, thank you so much. I salute you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, General. Think about this for a second. It has to be a two-person job. You want to know why? Okay, because if it is, let's just be real. If it's Annie and if Annie and Tommaso had anything to do with this, let's just wax true crime for a second here. Okay, let's wax possibilities here. Let's just say Tommaso has something to do with this, right? At this moment, at this moment, 5-0 is all over his ass. He can't do anything without 5-0 knowing he is doing it. He can't even wipe his ass without them knowing that he's wiping that stanky butthole. So think about that for a second. So who else is watching Nancy? That is, God willing, she is still alive. He can't go anywhere near where Nancy is right now. Ain't no way. He can't sit there and go, I'm going to go out and get a pack of cigarettes. They're going to follow him everywhere he goes. So, and trust me, if he was dumb, he might do that. He might just try to go over to wherever she is, right? Because he's just dumb. Hopefully he's that dumb. If it was him, right? But this is the reason why there's two people. Because if it is him, and he's the one spearheading the whole idea, somebody's got to watch her, baby. Somebody has to submit that ransom letter, that ransom note. You see what I'm saying? Like, you gotta, there's more to this. You understand? So if it was ever Annie or even Tommaso, there would have to be a second or third party involved with this whole freaking thing. Because there's no way that Annie or Tommaso could ever get anywhere where she is being held up right now, if they want their plan to fall together the way they want it to fall together. Here's the other thing too. Let's just put Tommaso and Annie off to the side, and let's just say it's not them at all. Because we don't know. Shoot, we don't know. It might be them, it might not be them. Even so, it would still take at least two people to run this ish. It can't just be one person doing this whole thing by themselves. There's no way. I will say that there's no way. Okay? So again, there's a lot more to this. With James, thank you so much for the love. Appreciate it. Why did she have to Uber to the daughter's place in the first place? Yeah. That's what I'd like to know too. That doesn't make any sense. Now, they interviewed the Uber driver so that he's been cleared, or they have been cleared. All right. But that's the only person so far that we understand that's been cleared so far of any suspicion in the connection of her disappearance, right? Also, did her daughter have cameras? And what time did Tommaso get home? That's a part that I'd like to know as well, right? What time, mother lover, did you get your ass home? That's what I'd like to know too. Or did it never happen? Did he never come home? Something to think about. Like I said, everybody's a suspect, except for Cameron and Savannah. Everyone else is a suspect. Real talk. No joy here. Check your email. Okay, I'll check it out. I will. Thank you. Shars, thank you so much for the love. The garage door scenario is strange. If the family member dropped Nancy off at home at 9:45 p.m., you would have made sure she got into the house safely. Absolutely. So that's why I'm like, what's up with the 2-minute piece? It shouldn't take her 2 minutes to walk into the house and turn around and close the garage door. There's no way. So something's up, right? Something's up. And then now they're playing super vague. You want to know why they're playing super vague? Hold up. Where's his mother-loving face again? Where's his face? Where's his mother-loving face? It's going to aggravate me now. Hold on. Where is it? I had it. Now it's gone. Dag nabbit. Where did it go? There it is. Where's his face? This mother-loving sheriff. The sheriff, not Jesse Waters, okay? The sheriff, not Jesse. The sheriff. Why is he walking everything back? Because I think a source was dead on. That's what I think. And he is now getting in his fees, and now he's trying to walk everything back. That's what I truly think. I think that this particular source exposed a lot of information to Banfield, and that pissed him off. And now he's like, no, there's no prime suspects. Damn it. There's no prime suspects. And I don't even know what you're talking about. There being blood all over the house. There's no blood inside or outside. It's only on the front porch. I don't know what you're talking about. The door being busted open. What are you talking about? He's taking everything back. He's hitting delete on everything. Like I said before, he's going, nope. Now we're just going all the way back to the origin story. Nancy Guthrie. Okay, nope, not that too. We're going to take that out. Okay, perfect. Just that sentence. Nancy Guthrie has been abducted. There we go. That's what he's doing now. He's rewriting the entire book. That's what he's doing. How dare you tell us now, right? And totally change the story. That's just confusing everybody. That's not helping the people who are just wanting to know the truth to keep an eye out for a possible assailant or a monster out here in these streets. What's true and what's not? Oh, yeah, a family member. I'll just say it's a family member. I'll just say it's a family member. What? You said it was Tommaso just the other day. Was she snatched from her bed or not? Or is that just a turn of phrase? Wait, was Tommaso the one who dropped her off? Or is that a turn of phrase? You see what I'm saying? Come on now. It's kind of ridiculous. Angel, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Tucson has the Gem and Mineral Show going on right now. Many people from around the world are here to buy and sell. Interesting. Been to the scene. They hired private security to watch the house. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not surprised about private security watching the house now. Not surprised at all. There's a lot of people that are insane. There's a lot of true crime wackadoos that are go over there and trying to, take photos and it's just people are weird. People are weird. Okay. Or they try to get super closer than they're allowed to, So yeah, get ready, because this is the kind of same thing that we saw with Gabby Petito, the Idaho 4, Brian Koberger, even a little bit of Emmanuel Haro, and then some, right? We've seen plenty of them. Quentin Simon, and all the craziness that happened on that one too. Remember, there was guys dressed up as hot dogs or something like that, like something crazy like that. I don't know. It turned into a whole sideshow. You don't remember that crap? I remember it like it was yesterday. People outside their house screaming at a house, dressed up as hot dogs, or God knows what, furries. I don't know what they were dressed up as, but you get what I'm saying. Tony, the mother-loving tiger. Okay. Just crazy, crazy stuff. All right. I just hope it doesn't turn into that. But it could. Give it time. Let me see here. Let's see. Hold on. So apparently there's a former hostage negotiator has a terrifying new theory on her abduction. Hold on.
Restless partner keeping you awake? At Mattress Firm, our sleep experts can match you with a better mattress, like the Tempur-Pedic Adapt. Its unique Tempur material absorbs motion and helps you sleep undisturbed. And
really?
Right now, save up to $500. Mattress
Wow.
Firm, we make sleep easy.
I believe that the possibility of more than one person. She's 150 pounds, 5'5" or 5 feet, waking up in the middle of the night, not in the best of health, can't walk or run. So I would think there's more than one person involved in this particular crime.
So me and him think exactly alike. And what did they say? Great minds think alike. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. This is just a theory, okay? But I think absolutely she did not get moved by one person. I don't think so. You really think that somebody, it doesn't matter. You could be 90 pounds, okay? This is not me trying to shame her weight or anything like that, okay? This is a little woman. But no matter what, you still got to move the body. You still got to move her. And if she's like, no, I ain't moving, or she's just struggling and she's, you know what I mean? It's going to be a little difficult to drag 150 pounds out of a house swiftly, right? So this was done with belief. Unless this person had a weapon, he had the pupa and he's like, stick up your hand, see? And she walked out like, okay, I'm going. And she slowly but surely got to the car. That's possible too. But if there was a struggle and she is bleeding, I really don't think this person did this alone. And the bruise in the blood that's found in the house or outside the house, okay? That blood is hers, not the perpetrator. Yeah, I think she was literally picked up and carried away. Now, true, you could be a big guy and could just literally throw her over your shoulder like a sack of potatoes. And you could do that yourself, by yourself. But at the same time, you know, everybody got some issues with their L4, L5. You know what I'm saying? Shoot. Okay. So I don't know if this is somebody who is just, you know, picking her up and then just, you know, running over to the car and throwing her in the car. But that's also possible too. That's also possible. So I don't know, guys, but we'll see here. All right. I got to wrap up the show. It's getting late. I'm tired. And we got a whole day tomorrow of coverage. We got a lot to talk about, but I told you guys I'd be on tonight. And this was like the third time I said I was going to be on tonight, you know, in a row. And then, you know, I would get tired and all that. So I was like, nope, I'm going to stick to my word tonight. That's why I'm here. But I'm going to be back on first thing in the morning to cover all this and then some. There's so much news that's gone on outside of the Savannah, the Nancy Guthrie situation. We still need to conversate about that. We'll probably sprinkle that in throughout the course of the show tomorrow. But get ready. We will be keeping an eye on this and covering this as well. Most definitely. This is the forefront of my mind. Absolutely. Because we need to get her home. And I'm hoping that by us talking about it and bringing awareness to it, the evildoers that are hopefully watching are feeling the pressure. Because, you know, by you guys showing up and watching every show, it says a lot. It does say a lot about all of us as people. So let's get her home. Let's keep talking about it. Let's keep covering it. And I'm sure there's going to be some updates soon. So get ready for it. Anyway, that is the show. Appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in, being a part of the conversation. Do me a favor before you head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush the do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button. Subscribe here on my YouTube channel. Please go and subscribe, please. Okay? Hit that subscription. We got a lot to talk about and many more miles to go before we sleep, especially on this particular case. So hit that notification bell, set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. Make sure you're subscribed here. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe there as well. All right? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. We will be talking very, very soon. Stay safe out there. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. But until then, be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.